Hello and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. Well, aside from reaching 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time and having my channel fully monetized now, I have something else to celebrate. So, I wrote a kid's book. Yeah, I know, right? Kind of weird. Weren't expecting that, were ya? So at our house we have something for the kids called the Mouse Family. One day, the kids came home. There's this little door next to their closet with a note on it explaining that they had just moved in and that they were magical mice that would occasionally fix their toys for them, bring them treats, and they left a couple pieces of chocolate for the kiddos to enjoy. Ever since then, there's been other things happening around the house. It's kind of like a year's long worth of Elf on the Shelf. Well, this thing that we've been doing has turned into further stories, which eventually I typed up and collected in a small book. It's kind of like The Mouse and the Motorcycle meets, what is it? The toad that goes driving. I can't remember the name of it offhand. It's kind of a combination of those two, right? The stories, in a sense. Otherwise, Mouse and the Motorcycle meets Elf on a Shelf. That would kind of fit what we have going on at home. But no, April 15th, The Mouse Family of Tustin Hills will be available. It's a short book. It's designed for kids, about 6 to 8 years old. I do want to make an illustrated version of it, but in the meantime, it's a written out series of short stories that my kids find entertaining. And perhaps if you have kids too, they might find it entertaining as well. But it's going to be available as an ebook and in print format. And like I said, I do want to come out with an illustrated edition. So I may have to start working on that as well, but currently do not have the time. Time is the big thing with stuff like this. Everybody seems to think, well, I don't have the tools, I don't have the... It's funny because I know people, I've known people over the years that they have an interest, allegedly, and they say that there's things that they want to do, allegedly. And if they're young, they have all the time in the world. I don't have the tools to do it, though. And when you get to my age, you have all the tools in the world, but you don't have the time. So yeah, that's the conundrum there, isn't it? When you're young, you're too poor to invest in the things that you would like to be doing that may benefit your life overall. But yeah, later on, you finally get your hands on those things, but the only reason you have them is because all of your time is spent working for someone else. So, the Mouse Family. Well, there's Papa Mouse, there's Mama Mouse. They have 3 kids. And they go on these little adventures. They go on grand adventures. There's how they ended up at the house. There's one story that's based on a true story, and it's where my wife and I are in the kitchen, and she had made some type of like cheesy noodles, like an hour or two before, right? And there's a wooden spoon on the stove and the ladle. And there's some noodles that are on the spoon. And we're standing there talking, and eventually something catches the corner of my eye, and I look over, and there's a mouse standing right in the middle of our stove. All the lights are on. It's got a chunk of noodle in its hands. Pause. Whatever. And it's nibbling away. And then we're both standing there looking at it like, is this really happening? And eventually the mouse, nibbling away, stops, looks up, looks at me, looks at her, drops the noodle, and hops on behind the stove. It just disappears. Had this look on his face like, oh crap! So the next morning we're telling the girls about it, and they're like, did it have a coat on? Because that's what we tell them. Like, we tell them that there's bad mice and that there's good mice. And one question was, well, how can you tell the difference? I said, well, is it wearing a coat? Well, how do you know that you're not going to catch one of them in the mice traps? I'm like, they're impervious to mice traps. They're magic mice. They don't get caught in mice traps. That's for dumb mice. So anyways, that's going to be out. I don't know if it's available for pre-order or not. I think the ebook version was approved, but I do have proof copies that are coming in the mail this week of the print version. And once I go through that and find all the editing mistakes I did not find the first 5 times around going through this book, I'll make the corrections, I'll get that posted, and that will be available. And I'll let you know for anybody who's interested in checking this out. Keep on typing.